Traxxas 1/16 scale line in general. Traxxas 1/16 scale is significantly larger, both in wheelbase, overall width, just overall dimensions. The Summit is a lot larger. Similar again to its 10th scale counterpart. It is underscaled. 10th scale one is technically a 8th scale vehicle. Same thing with the E-Revo, and then with the Slash, again, it's the size of an 8th scale buggy. So the mini Summit, mini Slash, mini E-Revo have kind of the similar dimensions. So it's marketed as a 16th scale, but it's sized more comparably to a 12th scale because it's around the same size as a Tamiya lunchbox, or even the Sen Racing Jimny that I reviewed. So scale is pretty important to people and kind of gets confusing in RC because there's a lot of technicalities with scale. But having that out of the way, I can't, even though I haven't run this yet, I have technically run this, so I am comfortable doing a comparison right now, even though this is literally fresh out of the box for the most part. Because, again, sorry I have to move the ruckus out of the way again, but this one is the Haiboxing 16889, and they're the exact same truck. They're completely identical. It is 100% confirmed, especially now having it in my hand, that they're the exact same truck, down to the bumpers, even like the LED lights you put in it, even the way the thing's packaged, it's the same truck. So I ran this one pretty hard. As you can see, it's pretty beat up, and I have confirmed, as a lot of people have confirmed, that this is a very nice truck. The suspension is garbage, but I'll talk about that later. But other than that, also the body's trash, but I'll also talk about that in a second. But other than a couple issues, this is a very nice truck, so there's no reason why this one wouldn't be. There's a couple differences, but before I point that out, let me point out the body real quick. The body on this Haiboxing one is trash. It's very thin PVC, so the moment you flip it over or crash it even lightly on the body, it will shatter. It will absolutely shatter, which is unfortunate because it's a very nice looking body. The rear of it looks kind of like a newly released like Ford Bronco Sport, I think, and then the other dimensions kind of have a F-150-esque look to it. So I am a big fan of the body, but it's just unfortunately not durable at all. So that's pretty terrible. But overall, the chassis is pretty nice. The main differences, they are completely identical, at least if you're talking about the brushed versions. The shocks are the same, everything the same, even the ESC, you can see they're the same. The only thing that's different are the stickers. This one just says ESC receiver, don't throw it away in the trash. This one says, this one says Redcat on it. The radios on both are also identical, except the Redcat one will say Redcat on here, and then the Haiboxing one just will say something generic. But as far as the molding goes, the radio on the Redcat version is actually better because the Haiboxing one, the steering wheel is very squeaky, and also the molding for the trigger has a lot of flash on it. So when you go to do reverse, the seam line here has a lot of sharp plastic flash on it, so you have to shave that off to kind of get a comfortable feel for the controller. So controller at least is a bit nicer molded on the Redcat one, which is hopefully what we should expect. The other difference real quick is obviously the tires. This one has like a knockoff of the Summit 16th scale tires, but like I showed you earlier, these are much smaller. And then these have kind of a mini kaiju style of tire. The compound is about the same on both, but I suspect this one is going to perform better just by virtue of having a lot more aggressive tread. This one has more of like a motocross or like mud terrain kind of tread on it, whereas this one's more of a kind of an all-terrain tire look. And then the other quick difference is the rear arms. So on the Haiboxing one, we have this camber link here. This solid camber link is just like a solid piece like that. On the Redcat one, they just give you straight up a double wishbone suspension like this. They just give you a second A-arm up here, just like they do on the front. And I suspect that's to cut down on the number of parts, because If you sell it like this, people are going to think, oh, I broke this part, I have to buy a part that looks exactly like this. When you don't, you can buy the same part as the front arms for the rear. As far as I can tell so far, actually, scratch that. They're the same shape, but they're actually different. You can see right here, this little indent here is a lot longer than over here, and also up here, this one has a ball joint in there, whereas this one just a screw. But the reason they did it this way was, while Redcat does buy the Asian market cars, they do make some updates to make it slightly better. And this is a better design because this makes this point a double shear point, whereas this is just a single shear. So that makes it a little bit more durable, and that is, I suspect, the reason why they did that, and always appreciative of that. But other than that, there's upgrades for this one. There's shafts, there's brushless motor kit for this, there's oil shock kits and stuff for that. So a lot of upgrades for this available. So parts are already going to be available for this, which is nice. So